Hi, and welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
This time I'm hidden. Happy October. We got our pumpkins going here. So I'm hiding behind these two beautiful gnomes. Aren't they gorgeous? A dear friend of mine in North Dakota, I think is where she is. I always get mixed up because I think she's in North Dakota and works in Minnesota, or the other way around. I always get confused. Somewhere up there in the cold north. When our dad died, she said to me that she didn't want to send me a plant or flowers. And she has a friend up there who makes these gnomes. And so she asked her to make two soft-looking ones that would represent my mom and dad.
They're
and
beautiful.
That's what she sent me. Aren't they beautiful?
They're beautiful.
So cute.
I love them so much,
Oh,
and they have
yeah.
wire in their hats, so you can bend them. Aren't they cute? So
Mom would have loved
I
those.
know they're so cute. I just love them. I love their little bendy hats, and they're really beautifully made. So I asked.
I like that little
I asked about
hands.
my friend just now. It's like, what is her name? Because I'd like to give her business a shout out. I guess she's not really ready for that. Her name is Martha, but it's shedding fuzz. But I told her to keep me posted because I do want to let you guys know where these came from. They're beautifully, they're hand sewn, obviously made here in the U.S., which I value, and it's like a knit fabric hat, and I guess I don't know if they're stitched or I think they're stitched down, and the hats are stitched down in the back, but the little arms and little feet, and it's like a little bean bag in the bottom to keep it weighted, and then this one has like a wooden nose, and this one's nose is a little bit different. It's like a felt styrofoam ball, something, and he's got the little, I don't know if you can see the little knit for the mittens, and his robe is different, and little knit feet. It's so adorable. And they're so well made. So I do want to let you all know once she gets her business up and running, so that anybody who wants to order these can. Sorry. They're so cute. I'm going to put them here, though, so that you can see my little face. Anyway, they're just so cute. I love them. Okay, I'm going to put them aside, though, just so I can show you my knitting.
Oops, I'm moving that.
And I interviewed for that job last week, so if I get it, I'm going to have my own cubicle. So they're going there. For me, I've been working more on my symphony shawl, my Sharon Air knit along. Wait, am I showing you the back? Or am I showing you the front? I'm showing you the back, sorry. There's the
Your
front.
backside.
Yeah, there's the front. So I'm working on this side of the trapezoid. And the other side's on hold. I finished the lace section in the correct number of stitches. It took me a while. And then I started this next section with the purples. It's so pretty. I love these colors. So it's going slow. Opening night is October 14th, and I don't think I'll have it finished by then, because that's, 2 weeks away? But I will, but it'll be too hot for a shawl anyway. So I'm like, it's okay. I'm giving myself some grace.
I was gonna say, a couple of people have posted like, oh, it's in the 30s and the 60s or whatever, where they are, like in the 30s,
it's in the 90s.
in the 30s at night and in the 60s during the day, and I'm like,
Shut up.
it's still bumping 100 here.
I know, it's so gross.
Like,
So, and then I'm still working on Hannah's sweater, although it is getting longer to the point of, like, I keep putting it under my arm to see how long it is, but I know she wants it kind of down. She wants it long, like past her bum, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm still, because it's this it's a very thin yarn, so it's going slow, but this is so nice because when I don't want to think, I can sit and knit this just around and around and around and around. Like I said last week, what's nice about this is that the boring part comes first, and then you work on the other complicated stuff. So you don't have to do, like, if you do a top-down sweater, you work on the neck and the increases and the shoulders, and then you do the boring part of the body. But this, I'm doing the boring part first, so it'll work out. And the stripes are looking good. But yeah, it's
so pretty.
It's still not long enough quite. Some of her sweaters, this would be long enough because she likes it right at her waist. But see, if I put this under my arm, it comes right to my waist. So it's not long enough.
Yeah.
So part of me is like, oh, but it's okay. It'll go fast. And like when I went on retreat. Oh yeah, I went on retreat last weekend. And so I took both kinds of knitting because I'm like, this knitting is just brainless knitting when I want to talk to people. And then the other kind is when I have time to sit down and think. So I took both kinds with me. So I worked on both of them this week, but and we're recording early because, so we don't have a full week's worth of stuff to talk about because I'm going on a fishing trip. Tomorrow I leave. And going up and hopefully catch something if the water's not too hot. But I see that, I think today and tomorrow, they're going to get rain up there, according to the forecast I saw. So that's exciting. And I am going to be starting on a secret project, which I cannot reveal in this video. So just know that I am in the thinking stages of the secret project. And then, not that it's going to help you, but when it's all done, you'll be happy to see it. But, so I've got that going. And other than that, that's me project-wise. I really don't have a lot going on. Oh, this weekend at Tempe Yarn and Fiber, they are having their big Spin Fest, October Spin Fest, and they're going to be giving out the A through Z wool kits that, remember, I think I told you about several weeks ago that I went and bought. And I tried desperately to get it early. I texted them the manager, and I was like, "Is there?" And Sonia also. I was like, "Is there any way I can get my wool early?" And they were like, I said, "If I promise not to talk about it on social media, not post about it, because they're having the big kickoff on Saturday." And I said, we were recording early, but it won't air till Sunday. I promise. And they're like, "It will be fine, except they're not ready yet." She's like, "You won't be able to pick it up till Friday," and that's the day I'm going out of town. So, and I don't think I'm going to be back on Sunday early enough to pick it up before they close. So I'm going to have to wait till like my next day off, like Wednesday. So sad. But that's happening this weekend. Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm not jealous enough to not go fishing, but I am going to miss that. But so that's the other fibery thing going on in my life. But that's it for me. And Vicky, love this bag. They use it all the time. Love it. It's perfect size.
We always decide who's going to go first, but we never decide who's going to go second.
You have a lot to talk. You have a big stack over there.
I do. So, but Beth, you have a lot to talk about.
Kinda,
What do you want?
yeah. I can go next.
Okay.
Did you put a thread?
Yeah, just a second. I'm
Well,
doing it
while
right
she's
now.
putting her thread, this is not part of what I'm stitching, but I've talked before about cross stitching for fun, how their Etsy shop was closed, and that's what I was doing on my phone, trying to find that announcement. They have a shop now on Uplift. So if anybody wants the information, email me.
Oh, because Etsy won't.
Etsy shut. Yeah, and it tells the story of here.
Because
After more than 3 years of excellent work on Etsy, they deactivated our shop because my partner designer Victoria is a Russian resident. They deprived us of contact with our customers, many of whom are good friends and living sources as well. We and our friends fought against this unfair decision, but alas, unsuccessfully.
Oh, man.
Now, after months of searching, I started a new cross-stitching for fun shop on Inspire Uplift platform. And I went and looked. She doesn't have all of the designs, but if you go to their Facebook page, all their designs are there. But they have the cutest Halloween ornaments and Christmas ornaments that they just put out. So I don't know if any of you remember the snowmen that have the Hogwarts things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's from them. And so they have a lot of really cute stuff. So anyway, now she's probably ready.
Okay.
That's good to know.
So I talked last week about the first WIP-GO call that I had completed that goal, and it was the Ronnie Rowe Ship Serenity, and this is another one of the ship series that I'm doing, and this is Running with the Wind, which is it's an older, probably out of print pattern by Pucker Brush. But so, again, it doesn't look like much. It looks like a bunch of blobs.
These are see the sails now.
Yeah, these are sails. And I did finish a lot of the white in these.
Should we move that pumpkin?
Yeah.
She's got. Here, you can reach over.
Yeah. But and so I was working on. Let's see if I can find it now. Yeah, up here, there's a lighter gray. It looks almost white. You have to really, in person, look at it. But I was up here filling in some of these, gray things so that I can do the white sail above it. And right here where there's a darker gray and a lighter gray that fit together, I was stitching it, and I thought, well, I think I made a mistake here because this isn't long enough, it's, not enough stitches or whatever. And so I was sure I had made a mistake. And so I was looking at it and counting it and, looking everything. And I had just a little bit of thread left for a few stitches. So I went ahead and took the needle off of there and just left the thread hanging there because I thought, well, I'll see if I need to adjust it or whatever I need to do. And I put this darker color on my needle because I thought, well, if I have to, see if I can, add stitches or whatever I have to do to fix it. And so I was looking at it and counting it and, blah, blah, blah. And it's correct. But I had already put this other color on my needle. So I went down over here and started stitching out here in the middle of nowhere. It's an outline of a sail, so it's but and this I thought I had made a mistake here too because I was like, wait, is this this is supposed to be under here and this is supposed to be under there, and I was so afraid that this part that I had already finished that had a mistake in it, so I was looking at it and I was like, there's 5 here and 5 here and 4 here and 5, it's like.
That's how it was with that lace section last week. I remember I spent the whole video here just counting.
So it was correct, and so I was looking at the part that I was working on, and I had just put in one too many rows, and it was like the very last row, so I didn't have to backtrack very far, but so yeah, and the problem too with this is that this part of the pattern is right where I had made working copies. And this is like a hand-drawn design, so it's like I was looking at the pattern, and there's one section that's the symbol is like a percentage sign, so there's a slash and 2 dots, and it's all hand drawn, and so like at one point I was like, what is that symbol? Because the dots were like blobs, really big blobs, and so I thought there was some different symbol in there, and I looked closer at it, and it's like, no, those percentage signs. They're just like very sloppy in that section, and one section also where there's a plus sign, and so the plus signs are like very bold, and then at one point they're very light, and I'm like, wait, is that different? No, it's just a variation of the hand drawn thing. So the other thing about this pattern is that it's a big page, big 2, or I don't know, maybe 4 pages, I guess, but it's in the middle of this book, and so it folds out, and so
everything's creased.
Yeah, so a long time ago when I started stitching it, however 2 or 3 years ago, whatever, when I started stitching it, we went to Kinko's FedEx, whatever, and made working copies. But it couldn't get the whole pattern on, because we enlarged it. Couldn't get the whole pattern on one page, so it's marked a little bit like where the pages like overlap or go to So it's a little confusing. So that was one thing I was like trying to make sure I had the right page and the right But anyway, so it's kind of coming along, and I just have today is the 29th, I believe. So
Yes.
I have one more day to work on this, and my goal was to do 10 days, and that's I'll hit. One day was a little skimpy because, but I worked on it still that day. I worked on it in the wee hours of the morning and the wee hours of the night. So,
Can we just use the think system like?
So we were talking about rehearsal because Naomi and I had, that was, my dad's service and all that. And then something else.
Well, he was in the hospital.
Yeah, he was in the hospital. Yeah. He was in the hospital 1 week, and then it was the night before his service, the next week. And so we just there's too many things to do in preparation for the service, and also before. So there was we had gone to not the first rehearsal.
And we missed the first two.
Yeah, and
then
we went.
First two, and then we went.
Yeah, we went to rehearsal and had the music, copies of the music.
Because it was the week Dad died, then Eli's birthday.
Yeah.
Then we went to the rehearsal, and then it was the night before the service.
Yeah.
And then we finally went last night.
Yeah, and so
and the concert is
we've been to one
this
rehearsal
coming week.
and the dress rehearsal, and then and so it's like I was talking about. We used to talk about in the orchestra about using the think system. If you look at the music and think about
That's
the music,
from
the Music Man.
Yeah. if you look at it and think about it, maybe
it's just like practicing.
Yeah. That's why I
didn't even do that. I was so unprepared for that rehearsal.
But and I wanted to say when you were talking about rain and all that is that for those viewers who are in Florida who probably can't see us right now because they don't have power, but just know that we're thinking about you. We have friends and in Florida, and
we have friends, a very close friend who fortunately was on the east coast of Florida and she has marked herself as safe.
Yeah, one of my friends from youth orchestra, youth symphony. She and her family live in Florida now, and she had marked herself as safe yesterday.
You heard about Kevin?
I have not heard about Kevin.
Oh.
My friend Kevin lives in the Tampa area, and I know they got hit very badly. So, all these people that we know in Florida, and maybe viewers or whatever, I'm not sure, but we wish you all the best, and just
scary.
in the difficult circumstances there.
I saw a bunch
flooding
of posts on my Facebook group for the Sharon for this shawl, where people I put all my yarn up high, hoping it doesn't get.
I cannot imagine.
I watched a
Your
time-lapse
house getting
video
flooded.
of it hitting Fort Myers. And I didn't see any trees go down or anything like that, but it was just a little trickle of water, and then it was flooding. I was like,
man.
I think
Yeah,
one of
it's
the weather reporter guys, how they always go out there and get blown and rained on and everything, apparently got hit by a tree limb or something. It was very scary.
Why they do that?
Anyway, getting back to
stitching.
One of the reasons that I've been, stitching on that in the wee hours is that this is the bunny sampler that I started, and for the Crossstitch camp is doing sort of a variation on Sampler September, and apparently I gather from people's posts that one of the challenges that Sherry Berger, who is the Crossstitch camp person, one of the things apparently was something about changing something in the sampler, and the other was about, maybe that was what I don't know, because people were posting about the things that they changed or the adaptations that they made or whatever, were this and that and the other, like putting their initials in it or changing colors or something like that. And so I thought, well, I've inadvertently done one of those things because I did change the color here. The called for color was avocado, and I'm using Pea Pod by it was Gentle Arts avocado, and I did not have that, so I used Classic Colorworks Pea Pod.
I didn't even realize there were letters. That photo is so tiny.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize there was an alphabet like that.
So right now I'm doing this little stem thing with the leaves are all Smyrna crosses. The stem is regular X's. And then I've just done the outline of the green on the hill so that I could get where this stem goes. But this hill, you can put your initials in there, and then there's a heart also, and then you fill in the rest with the green. So I've done the outline of the hill. The bunny goes here in the middle, and then the stem goes up and goes around, and there's that big spider rose that goes here.
That stem reminds me of that story in the Bible of Jonah and the weed that grows or whatever. Yeah. It's like one little weed to shade him or something.
Yeah. What I like is the way this fleur fabric, has these painted on little flowers, and one of them came out exactly under that leaf, so it looks like the leaf has a flower.
Oh, cool.
Right there. It's in the middle of the flower.
Yeah.
But so I've been working on this, and it's a lot of fun. It's really hard to do. The regular X's are fine,
Let me see.
but the Smyrna crosses, it seems like it's really small, but they're really not. It's 32 count, so it's not really small. But because you have to put it in the middle, it's hard to see.
Mm.
But so the over one alphabet is almost done. There's like the last two letters, the Y and the Z, go in here in the middle, and so you have to have something to count off. So I had to do this stem and everything. So they're
You don't have to make excuses why you
no. I didn't
chose to do one.
I didn't do all of the alphabet
part.
because of those last two letters were out in the middle of nowhere. So now that I have other stuff done, I can count my way to where they go. But so there's that bunny sampler. And then, so now upcoming stitching, I have my October rabbit. I haven't even given this a thought. I haven't looked at fabrics or anything like that. Probably a darker fabric because this has a lot of, has some yellows and reds and greens in it. But I'll have to look at what I have, because like I said, like I did for the September rabbit, which I never finished. It's almost still in this stage of almost finished, but whatever.
September's almost over.
I know. It ain't gonna happen. So, but it's mostly done. But so, like I did with September, I used the same fabric that I did for, I think I started in April on this same fabric. So I'm gonna look at, to see if one of that I've already started, is appropriate for October or whatever, but I have to do that. And then the October WIP-GO numbers were called number 1 and number 6. So my number 1 is this Christmas towel adaptation that I did for my nephew Eli, because he has his own apartment this year, and so I wanted to do something for him for his apartment. So this towel, hopefully, my goal is to finish it. So I have the whole month to finish it. And I was looking at the pattern going, it's probably going to take me all month to finish it. So I want to start it as soon as possible. But so there's 8 reindeer. The 8th one is under the hoop here. You can't see it very well. But this pattern is an adaptation from from a Leisure Arts Christmas book. I think the pattern, they're like towels, like little
fingertip
like this,
towels.
yeah. But it's like just one figure. So this pattern that this little reindeer is from is a reindeer pulling a sled with gifts on it or whatever. So I took that reindeer and I just put like 8 of them here, and then Rudolph supposedly is the 9th one. So there's 8 here and the 9th one, and there will eventually supposedly be like.
What do you mean supposedly?
Well, because I haven't done it yet. Reins, connecting them all. And then at the end here, there's supposed to be a Santa, and then
Supposedly, there
a
will be a
sled
Santa.
pulling a sled with gifts on it. So and I was just looking at like, oh yeah, I forgot about the Santa, because he goes on the end here. But
you have the pattern all made.
yeah, I have a pattern made already because like I said, the Santa with the sled is also in that book. So I had put them all together, and so I'm hoping. I don't think I put it in the chart, the thing about the reins, So I'm hoping that maybe I can like lace them all together with the reins and maybe put them in with Santa or something, as if Santa's holding them. I don't know. That's my concept. But anyway, this is my number 1 of my WIP-GO for October. So hopefully I'll finish that. We shall see. And the other thing, number, what was it, 6, I think? Was the other number that was called?
Yes.
Yeah. So my number 6, and it was also the goal was to finish it, is this little scissor fob, and I have the picture somewhere here. But it's very tiny also, so I'll put it. But it was a kit. So it's called Under the Bow. And I want to say, yeah, here it is. Yeah, I want to say the Chessie and me
It's so
kit.
tiny.
It's very tiny.
Insert photo here. Oh, how cute.
Yeah. So it's a cat sitting underneath a bough, and there's an acorn, and then there's leaves around it. And so all I
It's
have,
a branch to you and me.
yeah, all I have right now is this branch with an acorn. I don't have the cat, and it's all over 1 also, 1 over 1. And then there's also a backside to this fob. So there's another thing with an acorn, and then I think it's an alphabet, so you can put your initials on there. And then, so there's another piece of fabric that came in this kit along with the threads and everything. But, so this is the front. Just my needle under here. This is the front, and then the back has another bow like this with an acorn, and then you put your initials in there. So, and the goal for that I have also is to finish it. And really, over a month's time, it shouldn't take me that long because it's pretty small, I just have to, buckle down. But since it's my WIP-GO goal, that's mainly what I'm going to be working on. So, So I think that's it. That's all I have.
We had to pause because
My dog was being naughty.
very. Now you see the
My flamingo. This flamingo, my dad sent Naomi to buy me a birthday present while he was in the hospital. And this flamingo now has tooth holes in the leg.
because the doggy stole it.
Yeah. She loves stuffed things, and I never give them to her because she can shred them in 30 minutes.
And eat them and
Yeah.
eat the stuffing.
Yeah, and so there's quite large tooth holes right here.
You
But
said,
mostly,
"Can we pause? I think my dog is doing something naughty," and I turn around. I'm like, "Oh no!"
yeah. So I had this on the couch over there.
It's so cute.
And it looks so cute sitting there on the couch. But if she is unsupervised, I need to make sure that's not on the couch. So
Aw.
yeah,
That's why I was so scared last night. I made myself a glass of Pepsi. I filled the cup with ice. It was a cup like this, and I put Pepsi in it, and I have a space on my nightstand for that I put it on while I was getting myself situated, and I have a little area there in the corner of my bed where I can put a glass, and I usually put it there and kind of hide it so that the cats don't mess with it, because one cat loves straws and the other cat loves lids. Well, Snug loves both straws and lids, and he will go in. He'll get it any drink, and so I always hide the drink so that they can't knock him over in their quest for straws and lids, and it's a lesson I learned the hard way when I was living in Little Rock. So I'm very careful about that sort of thing. But last night I was so tired. I left the glass there, and I woke up in the morning going, "Oh my God, this glass!" I was so lucky, because if the cats had spilled it, it would have been a major, major disaster.
Okay, sorry. I am working on my second WIP-GO call for September. And by the way, I never post on WIP-GO that I completed or didn't complete it. I just enjoy them deciding for me what I'm going to work on. But I am not going to complete my goal, which was 15 days. And I am not going to finish the pattern. But I am getting further. I'm right here. So I finished all of Santa, except he has a little cheek. There is one stitch of that color on Santa, one stitch of that color on each reindeer for cheeks. And I am going to fill in the cheeks when all the rest of it is done, because I'm not going to do one stitch and then put it away and do one stitch and put it away. So I am working on the words. I have an N, an I, and half of a G done so far. I finished most of 2 of these little snowflakes, and there's more snowflakes everywhere. I filled in some of the little blue dots, so because it's just got random, because snowflakes are random, right? Stuff everywhere, and it's a very cute design, and I want it done. But if I don't get it done for this Christmas, I don't care, because I will eventually get it done.
As you always say, Christmas comes every year. So.
Yeah. So then my sampler camp project is the sewing bee. And I want to do the berry too, but right now I'm just doing the pillow. I should have started on the berry for 2 reasons. I'd probably be done by now, but I wouldn't.
Just in time to do it over.
But I thought, I only want to work on one berry at a time, and whatever, that's okay. I started on this, and I like it. It's not that, it's just that it's like, okay, yeah, I'll finish that eventually. But where the berries are fully finished. With the berries, I can't wait to get them done when I get them done. So, this is the height. I know you can't see here. There'll be a picture. This is the height of the berry, and this is the width of the berry. It's not a berry.
Of the pillow?
Of the pillow. So it's not huge, and I'm just like putting in a thread every now and then, because I want to get some work done on the WIP-GO thing. But the thing is that as much as I like that pattern, and I do like this one too, I really like the way this autumn berry is coming out.
So good.
So this one here has you can only see part of the pumpkin. Mm-hmm. And it's done on natural Belfast linen. I did not use natural Belfast linen. I used rust. And so the colors I've had to just really make sure, So one of the ladies at the attic helped me pick this white color, and let me fold it differently. Hold on. I am obsessed.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I just love it. And I'm like, wait, I have to put in more. I'm like, I really should work on that other one. I have to put in more. because
It looks so nice.
That red looks
The
gorgeous.
red looks gorgeous.
the red, I was afraid the red wasn't going to show up on
Oh,
this
no, it's
rust or that it
beautiful.
would clash, and it's beautiful.
It's really nice.
And so now I have to decide on if the colors that are called for over here are going to look good. And I think they will. But that being said, you cannot see the whole berry.
yeah.
She could have rotated that berry a little bit and shown the part that I'm going to talk about now. So this berry has this, this pumpkin has this portion that you can see, and it's cut off right here. Well, obviously the pumpkin isn't cut off right here. So there's another stitched thing over here, right? And I read this the day I got it, and I said, Beth, do you understand that? She's like, well. So let's just say it has like the rest of the curve, right? And in the middle, there's this little, it almost looks like, not rickrack, that would.
Yeah, it looks like a ribbon.
Yeah, down the middle there with different colors. Okay. And then there's little dots on either side of that. Just a minute. So, so the instructions.
It's almost like a sampler looking kind of.
Well, the instructions for that portion say the dots in the left section of the pumpkin are Smyrna stitches. Okay, easy, right?
Okay.
Use 1 ply of whiskey and clockwork together. I have to decide if that's going to work. Because clockwork is orange and I don't have it, but I have other oranges. So I have to decide what's going to...
get it, Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
That's funny.
After stitching the contour of that left section, you fill in, okay. After stitching the contour in the right section, blah, blah, blah. Okay, did that already. For added detail and contrast, stitch a vertical band of large cross stitches. So it means here's your row of cross stitches and you're sticking a large cross stitch over those 2 rows, I think. A vertical band of large cross stitches where the left/vertical section meets the 2 horizontal sections on the right. I think I understand. But
like here?
I think, over those 2 things. But I think I understand, but I don't. Because I can't see it on the picture and go, oh, yeah, that's what she...
Let me see that. Let me see. I'm very curious now.
Okay. So I am frustrated because other times I've been frustrated because you can't see the whole design, stuff like that. But, okay.
Top right section and star motives.
This is the top right
I'm
section.
Here.
This is the top right section. And she just wants you to fill it in with the color that was called for on the outside.
I see.
And this is the bottom right section. And then there's going to be this other half. And she wants it to go over this, I think.
Oh, no, I understand. Stitch a vertical band of large cross where the left vertical section meets the 2 horizontal sections on the right. So that means down...
Don't
No, I know. Down this band right here.
Right.
Over those...
I think.
Yeah. I
But
think that's what that means.
I think that's what that means.
Oh, it's... Because you know what it'll look like now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, she should have rotated it. But because it kind of reminds me of like a quilt. Like quilt patches. Maybe it'll look like it's sewn together.
I don't know.
Like it's patched together?
Yeah, like it's patchwork. Because that's what this because I haven't ever seen this, and when I see this, the left hand section and then the 2 right ones, that maybe it's supposed to look like a seam.
I don't know because I don't have a picture of it.
Is there a picture online of it?
I
have
looked.
to look at,
Remember when I got the pattern? I was really confused and I looked. So But I still am loving this
It's
berry.
beautiful. It looks great.
And I like, and what I'm going to do is finish the pumpkin without those large things, and then I'll decide if I want them there. So for those of you who I have to move this. Stay. So as you recall, I did the first autumn berry. Oops, sorry,
Oh.
hit a
I thought the
thing here.
flamingo was
I did the
falling
first
down.
autumn berry on this rust color. No, mustard. And here's the rust. They're very rich colors compared to what's in the photograph, right? These are all like browns. So I went to the attic and last week, my sister and I went to the attic and I said, I cannot do these two nice rich colors and then have the third one be, this, it would look okay, but it's not as rich in color, right? So I talked with them, and this is what I finally chose. It's called Needle and Flax. It's by
I
Needle
found
and
it.
Flax Endora. A
I
picture
found
of
it.
that side.
Yeah, it's on her actual website.
I looked on her website. Oh,
I'll screenshot this and put it on. Now you understand.
and not only do I understand, I'm not sure I like it.
I'll screenshot this and we'll put it up here. See?
See, because
It's
I
the-
looked when I first
Yeah, okay, kind of
bought
what
the
I thought.
pattern. I looked and I could not find a picture of it anywhere. Anyway, this is called Endora, and I've never stitched on linen before. This is linen, but it's 32 count.
Hmm.
It's
That's
beautiful. It's so pretty, and
Ooh.
I think with these two.
It's a nice fall color.
Yeah.
That's a nice fall
Addition. Oh, yeah.
addition.
That's going to be
I think
great.
it'll look beautiful. And a scarecrow goes on this. So it's even kind of Halloween-y because it's got a scarecrow on it. Of course, the scarecrow isn't scary. He's very cute. Look at his little smile. So I'm really happy. I was like, I told her, I showed her the yellow one and I said, the other one is they have fabric there that looks this color. I said, I cannot use just a natural thing for that. And so she helped me choose one, and this is what we chose, and I'm very happy with it. What did I do? Okay, so
Okay, I screenshotted that picture so we can put it up and show you what we're talking about.
I'm just really happy with this fabric. I need to put it back in this bag. I don't want anything to happen to it. So, as I said, I have a dog who likes fabric. I have seen some tragedies.
Like Robert's blanket. Ugh.
My dog stitched the embroidery out of a commemorative blanket of my son's.
You mean she
I mean,
chewed it
she
up?
ate it. She ate the whole embroidery section out of it. Then she vomited it on the floor.
Oh, no.
And then my son found out, and she almost lost her life. So the other thing I've been
That
working
part tasted really good. Apparently.
is
Until I threw up.
Lemon Cat. Again, I just stuck another thread in there. So this is where I am on that. And this is Maria Bravko. So again, it's a free pattern from her Facebook page. And I don't just get free patterns from them. I like them, but I like the free part. But I buy stuff from them as well. Okay, so that's those. And then sorry. While I was there, I wanted the stuff for this berry that was kindly given to us. 'Twas given to me. The attic, I had a couple of the threads, and the attic only had 2 of the threads that I needed. These are beautiful.
Oh, those are pretty.
And I chose this fabric
Ooh.
for it. I think that'll look fantastic on this fabric. This is 16 count. To me, 32, it's 16. 16 count Ada, but I looked at the pattern and I didn't see any 1 over 1, so that should be fine. But I love the blues in it. And then
So
I
nice.
think it'll be,
I love those thread colors.
yeah, the thread colors on this are going to be gorgeous. And then it has some others that I already have. And I'm just going to have to go online and look for, because I think I have enough. They didn't have the Gentle Art threads. And I looked online a couple places. Nobody appears to have them, so that's okay. I did find one, but I wasn't going to just order 1 thread, you know.
Because it might get lonely.
No, because I'd be tempted to order a pattern and I don't know what all with it. So when I go to the attic, I don't have to pay shipping.
Yes.
So I'll look online and see what the comparisons are. There's the DMC comparison in here. But if there's, any others, and I'll see if they have those if I go back this week. That depends on whether they call and say, my patterns are in, because I'm waiting for the winter berries. And I'm thinking winter berries, one of them, there's one in particular that I've seen. It's done with a light color thread on a blue fabric, and I plan on using a very rich blue thread, if not like this rich, something close to that. Mm-hmm. On this, because the ones I've seen you can almost not see the letters. And if I'm going to spend time putting on all those letters, I want to see them. So there's that. And then, of course, I needed another bag for all of my berries. My berries are taking over my life, which is fine. Whoops. And then for my WIP-GO calls for October, this is the number 1 call, which is another berry, Erica Michaels. I did
You are a very crazy person.
I am. I did one of these already, and I'm going to do the other one for WIP-GO. And then I haven't done this big one yet.
Is it like a pillow or just?
They have it just as like an ornament or something like a
frame.
flat.
Oh, I love that one of that Christmas berry you did. This is so
it's
cute.
the partner.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to do that, and if I have time, also crochet the things before Christmas so I can finish it. But for WIP-GO, I had already decided that I wanted to work on this in October because I want to have it done. The other one's done. I want to have this one done. Yay. And it got called, and I was so happy. And then the other one that was called was Cute Boots, which I love. I don't have it here because I have no intention of doing it. Because this has also been on my WIP-GO all year, and it hasn't been called. This is Tiny Modernist, When Witches Go Riding.
Oh yeah.
And
Was that a mystery?
it was a
Stitch-a-long?
mystery SAL that I started June of last year. But I was in cross-stitch camp, and I knew I was not going to get very much done. And I finished my cross-stitch camp piece, but I got way behind. And so this is where I am so far. It's a big
I forgot you'd done all that.
Yeah. And the white doesn't show up very well, so I stitch around it with other things. But that is half.
Really? Yeah.
It is like half here. So the WIP-GO goal is not to finish it. The WIP-GO goal is to work on it for a certain number of days. And, it would be really awesome if I could finish it, but that's not going to happen. Just because, berries. But, you know, I'm not going to want to work on this around Thanksgiving. I'm not going to want to work on this around Christmas.
Yeah.
So I'm going to work on it this month, and whenever this number gets called, then I'll work on cute boots. So, and I really like it. I was really worried about doing a Mystery Sal, that I wouldn't like it. I do love it. I'm not like super, I like fall stuff, and I like to put some stuff out for Halloween, but most of the Halloween patterns that I've seen, you know, are very, what is the word I want to use?
Macabre.
Yeah, you know, and I don't mind the ones the pillow that I finished with just a witch teaching a cat, you know, something simple like that. But I want to make sure that it's something that I'm not going to go, I just absolutely don't want to do that, you know. So I was worried, but I love Tiny Modernist, and I looked at a lot of their previous Halloween stitches, and I like them. So I think this is adorable. And somebody was saying that, oh yeah, this is like, you know, in Hocus Pocus, I think this thing up here, and it's supposed to be filled in. This is like a gravestone marker, I think, from Hocus Pocus.
Mm.
And it's supposed to be filled in with white, and I said no. I didn't want to fill it in with white. So I said, maybe my first impression of Hocus Pocus was wrong, because people were saying, oh, I love that movie. And so I tried to watch it again. I got about maybe 30 minutes in. Said, yeah, life's too short for this movie, so I didn't watch it. And they're coming out with a Hocus Pocus 2, and I'm like,
so the
really?
Symphony is having a Hocus Pocus live-to-film performance where they show the film and play the music behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I've never seen that movie.
I've tried. I've
love it.
tried to see, and but you know, it's one of those.
thing.
It's one of those movies that's very campy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
I didn't like Beetlejuice either because it's very campy.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't like horror films with the slashing and blood and all that
But
stuff.
it's like a kid film, isn't it? Hocus Pocus. It's like kind of
Yeah.
it's kiddie.
But
people are buying tickets in droves to come see the symphony do it. So
yeah, it's a popular
And I'm just
movie,
like,
but I'm like,
I've never seen
I
it.
can't make myself watch it. And I bought some more of this at the attic. They have it back in. Run and get it if you need it. It's Stitcher's lotion.
nice.
Yeah. So speaking of which,
I was
will
trying
put
to
some
restrain myself while I was there.
on. Well, you just bought some the other day, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was.
That is what what I'm working on, what my plans are. Honestly, it took every bit of self-control I have not to start that nativity berry yesterday. And I suspect it will be started before the week's out. Because, as we said before, we're filming on Thursday. It's so pretty, and I want to get the holly jolly berry done, and I'm like, wouldn't it be nice to have these Christmas berries?
Mm-hmm.
We're already going, what kind of Christmas do we want to do? You know,
Talk about Christmas.
and so even if I don't go super all out decorating for Christmas, I would like to have an acknowledgement that there's Christmas.
Yeah.
And my son has already said, we're putting up a live tree. I felt like saying, are you going to sweep up after it? But that's just part of Christmas, cleaning up. So he wants a live tree. Hopefully we can afford to do that. And here in Arizona,
It's hard to get it.
it's
they
hard to
dry
get a
out very
good live
fast,
tree. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you have to pay for a good live tree. And when I was a kid, we always went to the mountain and chopped down our own tree.
Yeah, I would love to do that this year, but I don't know. What am I saying? I don't know if I would like to do that. I would like to do that one year. I don't know if it's this year.
I took Robert when he was little.
Yeah,
Tim
my
and
kids
I.
have never been. But
Yeah. You know, I have pictures of him sliding down the mountain in the snow. But I've never done that here. It would be nice.
I think you already have to get permits or something.
Yeah. Yeah, you need permits and stuff. And I'm not interested in winter mountain driving. But, you know. So, on to stories. Since I'm already talking, I will tell a very short, funny story. So I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, late morning, and I ate a little bit before I left. And on the way there, the lines were so long everywhere, I was just like, I just want a soda. I paid way too much for somewhere that had a no line. And off I went. And I had soda at home. I just ran out of the house without getting one. So
I know, you made me thirsty. You said soda. I had to
So afterward, it was about, I don't know, 12:15. And I had to stop and get some medicine for my dog. There's another story. I had to stop and get some medicine for the dog. And I said, well, is there anything in here I want? I went to the deli and I was like, well, there's those pizzas that you can put in and bake yourself. And I almost got some of that. And I said, yeah, but in my experience, they don't have something that you... There's a thing called Papa Murphy's that has a take and bake pizza. And the thing it comes on can go in the oven. But at like Costco and Sam's and here at Walmart, it comes on a piece of cardboard which you have to take off. And then you have this floppy raw pizza that you're trying to stick in the oven. And then you have to try to get it out. Because it says not to put it on a pan. And they're kind of big for a pan. Anyway, I said, no, I'm not sure I want to mess with that. So I left and I was like, there's food at home. I should just wait and get, food at home. And by that time, my soda was gone. And so I said, well, I'll just stop somewhere and get something small. And I stopped at this place called Carl's Jr. because, A, they didn't have a line. Can you tell I just didn't feel like sitting in line yesterday? So they have a very inexpensive chicken sandwich. And my son and I love them. They're a spicy chicken sandwich, but they're not horribly spicy. They're just spicy enough. And so I ordered 2 of those, and one for me, one for him. And then I thought, poor Beth, I'll get her a hamburger. And I said, is there a inexpensive cheeseburger like what I'm ordering with the chicken sandwich? And she said, yeah, just regular cheeseburger. And I said, okay, give me a regular cheeseburger with no onions. I couldn't see just a plain cheeseburger on the menu. And because their menu board is like all this stuff. And I get up to the front and it's 12 something. I'm like, what did I buy? And
You can't even buy a chicken nugget meal at McDonald's for less than $10. It's crazy.
well,
Anyway.
yeah, I can get one for free off the app.
Well, okay, whatever.
But anyway, yeah, I was like, what the heck? The soda was like $3 because anywhere but McDonald's, it's ridiculously expensive. And then our sandwiches, my son's and mine together, cost less than that hamburger. And so I was like, well, they cost what they cost. And I just said, well, whatever. And I took the bag and I left with my soda and my bag, and I left and I got home. And I went to take the stuff out of the bag, and what was in the bag was a cheeseburger and fries. And so I was like, I'll just eat it. And Beth was like, well, that probably costs a lot less than what you paid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I'll drive all the way back over there, use more gas, go over there. And, I went through drive-through again, and they said, oh, yeah, we know, we're real sorry. But on the way there, I was still very hungry. And so I was eating a couple of the French fries. I can't give them to anybody,
Right.
I was eating a couple of the French fries, and so I'm sitting there in line, and you want the food back? And they said, yeah, so I handed it back.
It's missing a couple fries.
No. But as I'm driving away, I'm like, what's on my shirt? Oh, there's a French fry just sitting right here on my shirt. I was like,
I didn't eat any of the fries. I don't know how this fry got here. It must have jumped out of the pan.
while I was lifting it up, it just fell on me.
Oh my gosh.
I promise. This is the wayward fry. Really, officer, I didn't steal any fries from there.
Oh my gosh. I'm surprised they took the food back. Usually they don't take it back.
Well, if they hadn't taken it back, I would have eaten it, even if it had ketchup on it. I was hungry. So the second story I have is about my naughty dog. Well, not because she's naughty. As I've mentioned before, she has been very itchy. And finally, when I called to make her an appointment, they couldn't get me in until yesterday. So I've been waiting weeks. And they said, well, do you want to refill on your prescription? I'm like, no, it hadn't been doing any good. I'll just give her Benadryl because I'm allergic to everything. I have Benadryl in the house. And so I've been giving her Benadryl, but it hadn't been doing anything. I mean, it used to help her, but it hasn't been helping her. She had raw spots on her. She has no hair. She looked terrible. And, like raised little bumps, like almost like a rash, right? Where she's just been biting and scratching and, and all that. And she'd flap her ears. And I was like, this dog is miserable. So I'm going to pay whatever they say and help her. Because I don't care if she doesn't have any hair. She's allowed to not have hair. But I don't want her to be miserable. I don't want her to be constantly itching, because I know constant itching, and it can drive you insane. So the doctor that I saw yesterday has never seen her before, but he had all the notes from the previous doctors. And we went over stuff, and I'm like, no, I tried that. And I said, I tried that one shot that they said would last a few months if it was effective, and it did nothing. And the other shots they said would have to be every month. And he asked her to check and see how much that shot would be. $110 a month. No.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-mm. I said, no. So the plan is right now, she's on antibiotics because he said that there's an infection from all the sores and everything. And a very large dose of prednisone, and I have to give her little sponge baths whenever she goes outside to go potty, and she has to take Zyrtec twice a day. And you know what?
It's working.
She's not scratching, and all the little redness has kind of calmed down. And it's only been a couple of days.
That's good.
Yeah, 2 days. I guess it was Tuesday that I took her. So I'm like, yay, hopefully this will work.
Hopefully.
And that the Zyrtec twice a day, the plan is to just do that the rest of her life if it's useful, because there is just no way I can do a shot $110 every month.
Well, that's why with Hobbs, he was like that. Remember, he had open bleeding sores from biting. And our vet said, well, there is an allergy test we can do, and it'll show you like everything from he's allergic to humans to trees to food. And he goes, but it's really expensive. I said it was like $400, almost $500. But I was like, I've already spent that on him, and if I don't do something, we don't find a way to solve this, I will continue to spend that on him. So like it's worth it to me. And actually, we, as part of that allergy testing, they give you a list of foods that your pet can eat that avoids all his allergens, and they rank the allergens and stuff. He's not allergic to humans, so that's good. Apparently cats can be allergic to humans, which I don't know what
well,
you do
if humans can be allergic to cats,
yeah,
why
exactly.
not?
So, and dogs, they can be allergic to dogs.
I'm allergic to
as well.
both dogs and cats. I have them anyway.
But it showed, that he had food allergies, and then it gives you a whole list of expensive and inexpensive foods that the cat can eat. And so we got really strict on that, and we, we found food, and it turned him around like that. Mm-hmm. It was like night and day, and he's been completely fine.
Well, that's what I did for Snug, and I've looked at, I've seen in my photograph memories on my phone that come up every now and then, pictures of him from when we first moved into this house in 2018 and up until 2020, I think, where he was fine. There's, because he always lies on the bed like this, spread out, with his, tummy exposed and everything. So I have all these pictures of him like that, and the floofy fur on his tummy is fine. And then in the last 2 years, I guess, he started all this scratching and biting, and I took him to the vet finally, and I did the expensive food allergy test, and it turns out he's allergic to chicken. So and they also gave him
come here, baby, come here.
Gave him a shot, and and he did fine with the shot, and and so then I think we went back in because he started scratching again or something, and they gave him another shot, and they said to if it if it wears off, if he starts scratching again, to bring him back in again, and and so I in August, it was starting to I guess the shot was wearing off, and he was starting to scratch again, and so I remember thinking I need to take him back in again, but then everything happened with my dad and all that, so that got put to the wayside, but yeah, he looks bad again, and then I found out that when we did the allergy testing and he was allergic to chicken, I was looking through the list that they gave us for non-chicken stuff, and one of the things was this particular kind of cat food, that has every time I serve it to him has these little shrimps in it, yeah, and it's like a tuna and shrimp and pumpkin, I think is in there.
Tiki cat.
Yeah, and so it was fine, and then also this dry food. So I give him a little bit of kibble in the morning, and then I give him the canned food at night, and excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze.
Hey! Probably got that on film. The dog stole it from the back of the couch. The dog stole the flamingo again. Oh my gosh, he's so naughty.
Sorry.
Genius. Evil genius.
So as I was saying, so I had chosen from this list that they gave us this particular kind of cat food that did not have chicken as an ingredient, and so I ordered it through Chewy because it's an obscure brand that you're never going to find in the grocery store, I guess, and because I was trying to find something that didn't have chicken in it there at the grocery store, and it was like everything, even like the beef flavor, something or other had chicken in it, So I had ordered this like ocean fish flavor or something from Chewy, and then so it's a bag that has a white background on it. I can't remember what the specific thing is, because I don't really look at it anymore. But then I noticed that sometimes they would send me a bag that had a blue background. It still said tuna something or other, but it had this blue background. And so I didn't really think about it. And then a few nights ago, I was refilling this little bin that I keep the cat food in. And I was looking at the bag as I was going to throw it away, and it said among the ingredients it had chicken meal and chicken something or other, and I'm like, what? Why? And so now I have to. That's on my list to do, is to call Chewy and say I can't have that. And so
they should.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like I'm really surprised that they just substituted it without communicating with you.
Yeah. And because I don't know if it's the same brand, and it's also
because they just tell us what you've ordered is not available.
Yeah. Well, I've gotten those kind of emails that say that it's delayed or whatever, and and I'm usually okay with that because I usually am a little bit ahead of
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I was looking at
you need to call them and say that's not cool.
Yeah, and so I was just kind of naively just going along and feeding it to them, and now
maybe that's the problem.
Yeah,
I'm sure that is the problem.
And so I have to straighten that out.
Well, especially since you were about to spend a lot more money on a vet, and you find out the reason I ordered that was because it didn't have chicken.
Yeah, so I need to do that. And I was going to say, when I was talking about the glass of Pepsi that I had left on my bedstand, the reason it's so exhausting to do. I put off all these like little household things that I have to do, and I thought I have to do them soon because I'm spending the weekend at Naomi's house. While she's off fishing, I'm over at her house taking care of her cats and whatever. And so I was thinking, what do I need to take and what do I need to have? And I thought, well, I need to do laundry because I've been putting it off, for so long, and I need to clean the cat boxes because I've been putting it off. And so I was like, I have to do everything all at once, and it's flojo trabajador. I even said that to myself as I was doing my laundry because I had
In case you haven't heard that, the lazy one works double.
Yes. So I was doing all my laundry, and I had put it off, so I had a couple of. I didn't have as much as I usually sometimes do, but I had a lot of laundry, and then I also did the cat box.
The laundry machine is free.
I know.
It's not like when you used to have to use
She got in the habit of only doing it, once a month.
Yeah. But, and part of it is just, I'm just lazy. Lazy, I want to work double. If I wasn't as lazy and I would just doing my laundry regularly, like every Monday or something like that, but no, I don't. So anyway, so I had done the cat boxes first because I got to make sure those are done so that the cats they don't have to tiptoe through the tulips while I'm gone. And so I was doing that, and I had to sweep the floor because I had, there's cat litter all over the floor, cat kibbles all over because there was one day when Snug had tipped over. I don't know how he managed to do it, but he tipped it over and there was cat food all over the floor. And so I would picked up some of it, but it was like underneath the chair and so I decided I really needed to do a sweeping. And so by the time I finished doing a lot, my legs were like shaky, and so then I still had to do my laundry, and so I was over there putting laundry, and my legs are like from bending.
She started laundry at 11.
So it was just exhausting. It's always exhausting to do either one of those chores, either the laundry thing or the litter box thing or whatever, and to do them all in one. It was like, that's what I get for putting it up, because I have been telling myself for a couple of days, I need to do that litter box, or I need to do, just, and it just got to the point of desperation where I knew I had to get it done. So, and I was like, you never want to do both of them on the same day because it's just physically exhausting.
Well, let this be a lesson to you.
Yeah, cat owners can relate to that.
Oh my gosh! Well, my cat, I didn't have time to tell this story last week.
Oh yeah.
My cat used one of his 9 lives.
Oh
last week.
yeah.
They go chasing, like they have the chase games, where they're just tearing through the house, And usually I think it's Hobbs chasing Calvin. And we call Calvin the lean, mean jumping machine because he just levitates to his, to heights. But he's just this massive jumper, and Hobbs just isn't. And Calvin is very thin and light and long, lithe. He's very muscular. And Hobbs is just a big floofy baby. So I think that Calvin has like just a longer jump than Hobbs does. And the way our living room is set up, we have our couches kind of in the middle of the room. And one couch goes like this and ends. And there's my chair is here. And then there's a little walkway, and they have a cat tower that's up against the wall by the back door. And then that cat tower is right next to a bookshelf. The top of the bookshelf is Calvin's realm, and no one shall enter there. Now, Hobbs will get up there occasionally and gets his butt beat and has to get down. So, but the chase almost always ends up there. And this particular night, we were sitting, it was me and Eli and Mark, sitting around the dining table after dinner. And, they always come running out of the bedroom and they go over the couch, and I see their little feet like this, whew, over the couch. It's just so cute. So they were doing that all over the house. And then all of a sudden they came running, and I guess Calvin ran up or along the couch and jumped from the couch, from what I remember, to the cat tower, to the top of the bookshelf. And when he did that, because he landed and jumped, it started rocking. So I think what happened was it was rocking a little bit. Now, it weighs a lot, and they have done this before, and it rocks, but it never falls over. And it's super heavy. So we've never thought about anchoring it to the wall or anything. Now we need to, but it was rocking, I think, and what happened was, from what I can remember, that it was probably on its forward rock when Hobbs hit it. And when he hit it, he tried that same jump but didn't make it all the way, and so he was clinging, and it tipped like this. And the tower, it's like probably shoulder height to me, so not quite 5 feet. And it has a little house on the top. So it has a little sloped roof and a little entry. And then there's like a little landing on the bottom of the entry, but it's not very big. It's like maybe a couple inches. So it's not like a front porch or anything, but it's just a little bit of space there. So he grabbed the roof and it started to tip. And also behind him was, at the end of the couch, we have a tall little table that sits there. And so what I could see was that thing falling over, and either he was going to crack his back on that little table, or the whole thing was I couldn't tell if it was going to fit between the wall and the couch and fall on the ground. And I thought, well, if it falls on the ground, the peak of the roof is going to smash him in his internal organs. Mm-hmm. And it started to fall over, and he was kind of clinging, trying to...
That's where you're like...
Yeah, he was trying to get up onto the top still. Mm-hmm. And I yelled and started to run over there. And I think when I yelled, I scared them both. Because I think, if I remember right, Calvin jumped from the top of the bookshelf this way and took off, scrambling. And Hobbs got scared, almost like he wasn't scared before, but when I yelled, he got scared. And so he turned kind of sideways. But what I saw was that thing fall on him. But he turned sideways and scrambled off and took off running. And we were all just in shock. And I thought it had landed on him. From everything I could understand, what I saw. And so when I went to pick up... So he was long. He took off. And so when I went to pick up the house, I realized how heavy it was. And I thought, if that hit him in the gut, he's going to die. I was so scared. And because I had yelled and ran toward them, they were scared of me for a second, you know. So I put up the house, and I look around, and he's kind of sitting in the living room like, "Why'd you yell at me, Mom?" And he wouldn't really come near me, and he kind of went under my desk, and I thought, oh no, you know how, because when cats get hurt, they hide, right? And I'm like, oh no, 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 no. And I was so scared, but eventually he let me pick him up, and I was, you know, running my hands down his body, and you know, he was walking fine, he wasn't limping, and later in the evening he jumped on me, let me cuddle him, so he wasn't in any pain somehow, miraculously. But I was just like, I don't know how you survive that. And
because he's a cat.
Because he's a cat. And I think that what happened was he turned himself so that he was between the foot of that little house and the roof of the little house. There's like a little bit of a...
If you hadn't yelled, it might have landed on him.
Maybe I scared him into action, to moving himself. So anyway, we're thinking, how do we anchor that to the wall? And I think what I'm going to do is put one of those gorilla hooks. You know, you just put those into the drywall.
Yeah.
And it has a hook like that.
Yeah.
And then get a wire and put it around, because it has a pillar in the back that we can just put the wire around that, just to keep it from
wobbling,
completely toppling.
Yeah.
And I've got to secure it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Before we leave. And then the other day, it was Tuesday night, I had picked her up on my way home from work. I picked her up for orchestra. We went to my house, and Mark had just arrived. He had just gotten there just before me. And we walk in, and I was like, hi. And we see Calvin running around. And I'm like, where's Hobbs? And he goes, I don't know, I haven't seen him yet. And so kind of looking around the house, and I was like, Hobbs, I said, did you... Because that morning when we were getting ready, he'd gotten in the closet. Mm. And as I left first, I told him, Hobbs is in the closet, our bedroom closet. I said, he's in there. And so sometimes when he gets in there, we just leave the door open. Mm-hmm. But we like to shut it, because we just don't want them, you know, messing around. So I thought, did you leave him in the closet? He's like, no, I made sure he wasn't in there. So I went and looked in the closet. And I'm like, Hobbs, where are you, Hobbs? Because a lot of times he'll be sleeping like under the bed. And when I call him, he comes out all sleepy-eyed. And no, he didn't come out. And I walked into the dining room, and all of a sudden I see him jumping. He was either on top of the cabinets or on top of the fridge, just sitting there, because he jumped down the fridge. And I'm like, what are you doing?
He kind of blends in with the cabinets.
The whole house.
My cat, Storm, when we lived on 48th Street, I used to keep, well, I still keep, my griddle. I keep it up on top of the refrigerator because nothing gets on it, and it's flat, and so nothing's going to scratch it.
And you don't have to find space in a cabinet where it doesn't fit,
because they're wide. And so he decided that he needed to be up there, and there was a counter right up against the refrigerator, so he jumps on the counter, jumps up there. I'm assuming. Because when I came home, Robert had a bag of garbage, and he goes, Mom, don't kill the cat. I said, what happened? And he said, the cat got up on the refrigerator and decided there wasn't enough space, so he shoved the so he murdered my griddle. And there was even a divot in the floor. That's how hard the griddle hit the floor. Yikes. And he said, Mom, it just shattered. It shattered.
Oh my God.
And I looked at it, and there was just little griddle parts in the trash. He goes, don't kill him. I'm like, nah,
Well, when I first moved here, I had, I must have had it on top of this I have this little wooden cabinet thing that I've had in Little Rock. My first apartment had you couldn't stack 2 cans of soup on top of each other. They had such little tiny cheapy cabinets. And so my mom had bought me, for my birthday, I guess, or something, she had bought this little wooden cabinet. They used to have them at, I don't know where, Target.
Yeah. Because I bought one just like it.
So it's a little wooden cabinet, has little doors on the front, And so I had used it when I moved to my second apartment, and subsequently used it just like with whatever stuff in it, collections of whatever. And so so when I moved here, I think on top of it I had my turtles. I have a bunch of turtles, and so at one point it came out. I know it was Snug had knocked this. I think he broke both of them. I don't know, but it's like a little. It was like a little ceramic turtle, but it was hollow, and it had a little kind of a hook thing, and so the head like hooked on there and wobbled around. So it was a little wobbly headed thing, and I came out and found it in pieces on the floor. But yeah.
Well,
so
my cat stole my Bluetooth headphones, my JLab, very nice Bluetooth headphones. Because Hobbs likes like a little object like this. If it's on a table, he'll be like, "What's that?" And I guess that's what he did with because they were in the charger on the stand by my chair, and Eli walked up and found the empty charger, and he's like, "Mom, where are your headphones?" So we looked everywhere. I looked flashlights. Of course, I have this really, really, really strong flashlight, and I'm looking under the couch, and I don't want to shine it in their faces because it's so bright. But there they come. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm blinding you. What do you think I'm doing? So so then, like, I don't know, a week later, in our bed where they take their toys sometimes, there was one. I still haven't found the second one. I'm like so mad. Well, like they played kitty soccer with it somewhere.
I was telling the cats, you're going to blind yourself because they will get up to the light and they'll stare right at the light. But that reminds me of when I first had Puck, before I got Snug. So I used to have a clock radio. This was when I lived in Little Rock, that had a remote attached with a wire, a cord. But so I had on the headboard of my bed, I had a light, and so the remote for the clock radio I had wrapped around the clip of this light and hanging down, so I could just when I was lying in bed, if I didn't want to get up right away, I could just reach up above and hit that little remote, and
what
it
happened?
would.
You made a big mistake.
Well, I couldn't figure out why this gap in between this between this and the G was not the right amount. And so I'm looking, is the little snowflake where it belongs? Yes and no. It's one space too far over here, right? But that has nothing to do with up and down, right? And I'm like, well, that starts at the right place. This little loopy here should be here. Therefore, the G should be higher, right? So I'm looking at that going, oh, you know what? It's okay. I was just telling the proper stitcher on their video that they did, I don't know, that she did a couple days ago. She was talking about finishing, and she said, she didn't like the pillows. There's nothing wrong with the pillow finish that she did, but she just kept looking at it and saying, she goes, it was ready to hang on the tree. But she decided she didn't like it. So instead of taking a seam ripper and taking it apart, she used a rotary cutter and ended up cutting it too close to her stitching. And so she's talking about, how do I fix this and all this other stuff. And I even commented to her, I said, I had an art teacher tell me once, you're not making it better, you're just making it different. And so he said, stop trying to fix it. Just stop and just give yourself some time and walk away. And if it still bothers you later on, that maybe you can do something, he said, but usually it's just ends up you still don't like it because you keep trying to fix it. And then what was the other thing I said? We are our own worst critics, and we will see, when we look at something we've created, we will see everything that is wrong with it.
Yeah.
And so if you look at that, it still looks like NIG, You know,
Yeah.
if you didn't know what I just told you, you wouldn't know that I just adjusted the loop on the G. And I was like, but why is it wrong? Okay. And then I thought, so,
Yeah.
you know, I'm just gonna just leave it because the G is approximately where it belongs. It's close
Yeah.
enough. It's close enough. I might have to adjust the H a little bit.
Some mistakes you absolutely have to fix.
Well, yeah.
Like when I was in this lace section, I had to fix it because I was 10 stitches off.
That's
I
what.
don't even know how I got 10 stitches off. That's too many stitches, but if you're 1 or 2, you can fudge it. You can figure it out.
And it depends
torture
on the
yourself.
pattern too, as to where
Right.
where you're off. But like in here, these little leaves in here, I was 1 stitch too far this way, and so they didn't fit.
Yeah,
And since they're exactly the same,
you have to fix it.
yeah, so I had to take them all out and start it again. But otherwise, I'm just like, okay, it's just going to be wrong because I'm not going to go back and take all that out.
And
For
sometimes going back, like I felt bad because in this gray area, a lot of people have run out or very close to running out of their color B, which is what this gray is. And I had to undo, I think like, I don't know, 10 rows. And I think one of them I had to do twice. Like I did it wrong twice. And so the yarn has started to get kind of fuzzy and I was worried about it. So sometimes if you don't have to undo stuff, you don't really want to because it damages the threads and the fabric and everything.
These fancy threads, you know, DMC does
take-
it too,
yeah.
but the fancy threads tend to, you know, disintegrate faster because they're being rubbed on that
Right.
hole every time you
Right.
go in and out.
So if you can let things go, it's better for your project to let them go. You just have to, you know, make a judgment call of like, is this worth it or not?
Yeah, so I just decided.
Sorry, we interrupted your story. You were talking about your
I was
cabinets.
talking about
Sorry, Beth.
how one time, you know, I used to use that remote. You know, I used to just reach over my head and hit the button on the remote, and then
Turn off your
turn on the to turn off the
alarm.
Yeah, so to delay it or whatever with a snooze button.
Oh, I see.
And so one morning I went to hit the snooze button thing, and it's like, it didn't work. And I thought, oh. And so I thought, is it like, does it need a battery? Does it, you know, why is it not working? And so I went to, you know, take it off of there, and I unwound it off of the clip, and I went to pull it out, and there's the end of the cord, and had little tooth marks on it. The snug puck had just like chewed through it and destroyed it. So, you know, yeah. Well, you know, when you were talking about Calvin and Hobbes jumping, when I had Hotspur and Cyrano, Hotspur was he would jump on top of my entertainment center, jump up on top of there, and Cyrano never got up there. Cyrano, like, even I had an apartment in an old turn of the century house, and so I had these big tall windows that were like 9-foot windows, but the window sills were like at like maybe knee level or whatever, you know, low, very low window sills, and Hotspur, of course, would jump up there all the time. And Cyrano would like to sit on there, but he would like climb. He would scramble up. You know,
Really?
he wouldn't jump.
Something was wrong then.
I don't know. He was. Well, I always thought that Cyrano was probably the runt of the litter because he was like half the size of Hotspur.
Oh wow.
And so he was very skinny and small, and Hotspur was like a big, you know, bruiser, and so they would, you know. But when you were talking about them being scared, one time I was in that apartment, and I had found that the floor I had a little walk-in closet, and the floor of it was like warped, and I found out that the neighbor's water heater was, you know, they were like out in an outside closet, and his water heater had sprung a leak, and so it had left water all over the floor, and it was right outside where my closet was, and so it had warped the floor, and
Geez.
and so I had to, the landlord had sent somebody in to replace the floor, and so I had taken everything out of the closet, and the guy, I guess, pulled the carpet back, and he was cutting out there was a plywood, floor under there that he was cutting out. So he goes in there, and I was there, and the cats were roaming around or whatever, and I guess the cats were toward the front of the apartment, on this side, and the closet was back here, and where they usually went when a stranger or somebody came in to the apartment, like when my students would come over or whatever, when they were scared, they would run to the back of the apartment because the kitchen was back there. It was one big room, the kitchen and the bathroom. So they would run to the kitchen and go to the bathroom, and that was their safe place, was in the bathroom. Well, so this guy walks in, comes in, and he's in there in the closet, and he's like, zzz, starts with the saw. Well, I had like a 12-foot high ceiling in my apartment, so it was echoing like crazy. So the cats were terrified of this horrible sound, and so they slinked around the room to go to the bathroom. But as they got to the back of the apartment, they got closer to the scary sound, and they were like, "Whoa!" And so Hotspur jumped up on top of the entertainment center, and Cyrano, on those windows, I had I guess between when you open the window, between the glass and the screen were these iron bars, to keep burglars out or whatever. So Cyrano managed to jump up on the windowsill, get up on the windowsill, and squeeze himself between the iron bars and the screen, because he was trying to get out and get away from the scary sound. And so he went, because he could get underneath the iron bars.
Yeah.
There was a little 6 inches of space, or whatever. And so he squeezed himself under there, and he was. So I had to tell the workman, "Could you stop for a second?" And I had to, and I put them in their. I had a big carrier that I could stick them both in. And we went outside, and since I put the carrier on the roof of the car, the hood of the car, while the guy was in there, and then he came out to cut a piece of plywood for the thing.
You're scaring my cats.
So it was just a big ordeal, and finally I was able to to go in and let them out. But they were so, I had to physically peel Cyrano off of the screen to get him in the carrier. They were terrified.
Scared cats are so.
Mm-hmm. I feel so bad for them because they can't understand reasonably what's going on. And you can't
I bought
tell
new
them.
shoes, and Hobbs is scared of my shoes. I'm like, I'm talking to you. I am the same person that I was 2 seconds ago before I put on these shoes.
That's when
Mom, I recognize your shoes.
I would get dressed up for the symphony had for Halloween, and we had a dress up costume performance or whatever, and so I would dress up like a cat. I would wear I had a white turtleneck and a black cardigan, and then and white gloves with I cut the fingertips off so I could play, and I made a little cardboard tag that said, "I've had all my shots." And I used the cat's kitten collars, and I buckled them together like this, and then hung the tag off of that. And I had black pants and white socks and black shoes. And then I made a tail out of some leg warmers. I had a leg warmer and the other leg warmer inside it, and I pinned it to my pants. And then I had a little headband that had cat ears on it, and a little thing on my nose that had whiskers, little fake whiskers. So I bought all those at Walmart or whatever. So one day I had put all that stuff on to go out the door, and the cats are looking at me like, they're so like, "Who are you? What are you? Ah! You're not a cat. That's not normal."
When I scare my cats, I feel the worst, because you're like, they're never gonna trust me ever again. Well, last night I should say early this morning, I was sitting in my chair sleep knitting, And it's my favorite activity. And Hobbs came, and he always jumps on the right side, and he sits right here across my chest. And he was purring and cuddling, and I was holding him. I was like, oh. And then I honestly don't know what happened. I didn't hear a sound. I didn't see it. I don't know. Maybe it was a ghost. I don't know. But all of a sudden, he goes like that. I feel this little like double jump, and then he goes shoo straight up into the air, and I have scratches all over my belly. Boom! And I'm like,
I think he had a nightmare.
what? He wasn't asleep. He was perfectly. Oh yeah, I had a nightmare. He was perfectly awake, wide awake, and something startled him. I don't know what it was, because nobody. It was like middle of the, 3 o'clock in the morning. There was nothing, and all of a sudden he just goes and chook, because I could feel the tension, and so I tried to let go of him because I thought something's. You're like something's wrong, and then he just went straight into the air and took off.
It's like, at any given moment, I have cat scratches on my body in some form. Because I was like, what's that? It's a slice of a cat. When scratches, here and there.
When the kittens were little, they had little needles, and they were constantly on and scratching. I had to go to the ER for something. I don't remember what. And they were like, I had to lift my shirt. And I think I was, I don't know. I don't remember what it was. But they were like, the doctor kind of stopped for a second. I'm like, I have kittens. I'm okay.
This has been a really long video.
Yeah,
so we should go.
Well, thanks for joining us one more week.
Mm-hmm.
Happy October.
Yes.
Happy fall, y'all. Hope your fall is going well. And
thank you to all our new subscribers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell your friends.
Yes, yes. And we will see you next week. I'll have fishing stories, hopefully. Bye.
Bye.